and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavor show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Hello and welcome to The Deep Dive, where we take your insights and sources and unpack them to reveal, well, hopefully, some hidden gems of understanding.
That's the plan.
Today, we're digging into just a single audio snippet, actually. But it's amazing how much it opens up. We're looking at two really fundamental human struggles, I think. One is this subtle dance of trying to belong somewhere, you know? Especially when there are all these unspoken rules.
Right. And the other?
And the other is that desperate search for justice, which can get, well, morally complicated when the usual ways seem blocked.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating here is how these seemingly ordinary conversations, just people talking, become these little windows, don't they, into the bigger picture. You see the social fabric, the economic realities that shape what we even think we can aim for.
And just that basic human need for acceptance, but also for resolution, things feeling finished.
Exactly. So we'll be exploring two narratives from this clip. They're kind of tangled together, and each gives us a unique, sometimes quite challenging view on all this.
Okay, let's get into it then. So, the sources kick off at a golf club bar. We've got two friends, Chelsea and Zab. They've just come off the course.
Fresh off the green.
Yeah, and you can sort of feel that buzz, that post-game energy. They're a bit awkward, maybe feeling a little out of place.
A bit self-conscious. Yeah.
But also really buzzing from the game itself. They actually think they could get, what was the phrase, roughly good at golf.
Ah, roughly good. I like that. It shows the enthusiasm.
Definitely. Zab even says to Chelsea, "You're not bad, Chelsea." So, you know, they're genuinely excited by this new challenge.
It's something different for them.
Right. And then almost immediately, the conversation turns practical. How much does it actually cost to join this place?
The inevitable question.
Exactly. Vab, who seems like the practical one, gets her phone out, looks it up right there, finds it's about 75 quid a month.
Okay.
Now, here's the interesting bit. For them, that's actually less than they thought it might be.
Oh, okay. So a pleasant surprise initially.
Kind of. But despite that, like initial, for both of them, it's instantly a hard no way.
Right. Even less than expected is still too much.
Yeah. Zab even starts thinking aloud like, maybe she could ask for more hours at work, comparing the cost to a gym membership.
Which Chelsea's not having.
Not at all. Chelsea thinks the gym is boring compared to golf, which she calls a proper challenge. You can really hear she's caught the bug.
Yeah, you can. And that immediate reaction to the price, even the lower than expected price, is quite telling, isn't it?
How so?
Well, it gives us this really clear insight into that that intersection of wanting something and the cold, hard economic reality.
Right. $75 a month.
For lots of people, maybe that sounds doable. But for Chelsea and Zab, it's clearly a significant hurdle, not just the number, but psychologically, perhaps?
What do you mean?
It's not just the 75 levers this month. It's the idea of that commitment, month after month, what that represents in their overall budget, you know?
Yeah, discretionary spending.
Exactly. It's a signal about where they are financially, their comfort level with that kind of regular outgoing cost. So it shows how things that might seem accessible on the surface.
Like a sports club?
Yeah. They become exclusive, not just because of the upfront cost, but because of these perceived thresholds. Financial, maybe social too.
And just as they're kind of grappling with that, bam, the human element arrives to make things more complicated. And frankly, unpleasant.
Ah, Lawrence.
Lawrence. He shows up, described as a known unpleasant character.
Understatement, perhaps, given the history.
Right. This is the guy who said that awful thing to Chelsea before, the "wouldn't touch me with a barge pole" or whatever comment.
Which she rightly called out as offensive on so many levels.
Absolutely. So he tries to set things straight, offers to buy them a drink.
Oh, charming.
Claims there was fault on both sides.
Wow, okay.
Chelsea, thankfully, is having none of it.
Yeah.
Shuts him down. Firmly.
Good for her.
But then later, Lawrence seems to overhear Zab talking about maybe joining despite the cost.
Right.
And he just scoffs, dismisses the 75 quid a month as a joke.
A joke.
Yeah. Then he drops the bombshell. There's a joining fee, a big one, that apparently runs into thousands.
The hidden cost.
And then, just to really rub it in, he looks at them and says, the club, the whole game, it's simply out of your league.
Oof. That's brutal. Just pure snobbery.
Totally. And that, predictably, is the final straw. They decide, right, let's get out of here, go to the bull instead.
Can't blame them.
But here's the kicker, and I love this bit. Zab, she's got this defiant streak. She decides, you know what? I'm still going to go to reception. I'm going to find out the truth about that joining fee for myself.
Yes, that's fantastic, because this whole interaction with Lawrence, it's absolutely critical. It shifts from just money
To something else.
yeah, to active social gatekeeping. And it's dripping with personal dislike, isn't it?
Definitely.
Lawrence isn't just sharing information. He's deliberately engaging in status signaling, using what he thinks he knows, his position, to decide who belongs.
He's drawing a line.
Exactly. Defining who's in and who's out. And whether that figure, the thousands, is totally accurate or maybe a bit exaggerated.
Doesn't matter.
Well, the intent seems pretty clear. Discourage them, put them off. It really highlights how established members can kind of enforce these unwritten rules or just, project their own biases.
Denying them access to, what did you call it? Social capital.
Social capital, yeah. The value you get from networks, from being part of a group, he's trying to block that.
Okay, but let me push back slightly here. Couldn't someone argue, maybe someone listening is thinking this, that Lawrence, okay, he was incredibly rude,
Definitely rude.
but maybe the information itself, the thousands for a joining fee, was actually true, a factual warning, even if delivered horribly. Is it always gatekeeping, or sometimes just the unpleasant truth?
That's a really important distinction, and it gets to the heart of it. Look, the facts about a high joining fee might well be true. Lots of clubs have them, but it's the way it's delivered, the context, the dismissive tone, and especially that phrase, out of your league. That's what turns it from just information into an act of social exclusion.
It's the intent behind it.
Absolutely. It's intent as much as content. Lawrence isn't trying to be helpful. He's asserting his dominance, reinforcing the boundary.
And Zab's reaction, going to reception anyway.
Is brilliant. It's a refusal to just accept that boundary he tried to impose. It's an act of agency, She's challenging his version of the social hierarchy instead of just taking it on board.
She wants the facts, not his opinion.
Exactly. She's trying to reclaim control over the information that affects her aspirations. It's quite powerful, actually.
It really is. Okay, so from that, navigating those tricky, sometimes nasty social rules, we shift gears. We're heading to the Bull Pub.
Right.
And here, the mood is different. There's community triumph, but it's fighting against this really deep, unsettling feeling.
Yeah.
Unresolved trauma from a crime.
A real contrast.
Yeah, the atmosphere changes completely. The pub's just had amazing news. They've won the South Butcher Best Local Pub Award.
Fantastic.
That's great news. Fallon, who runs it, she's absolutely thrilled, overjoyed. You can hear her buzzing, thinking about getting it on the new pub sign. Genuinely proud.
As she should be.
But you can also hear Kenton's anxiety underneath it all. He admits it, says he's just a bit on edge.
Still haunted by the arson.
Exactly. He wants a quiet life, but he's haunted because the people who did it, Marky, who he calls the main one, and the other bloke, they're still out there, missing.
No closure.
None. He says things would feel very different if they were locked up. It just shows this huge emotional weight that's still pressing down on him.
And that connects directly to the bigger idea of, community trauma, doesn't it? And that deep, deep longing for closure.
Yeah.
The award is brilliant. It's a win, a symbol of them bouncing back. But it's completely overshadowed by this lingering threat, this feeling that justice hasn't been done. Or at least, not yet.
It really shows how much personal peace and community peace is tied up with resolving these awful events.
Absolutely. Kenton's anxiety isn't just about, the burnt sign. It's the psychological thing. Knowing those people are still around, unpunished, maybe still a danger. That kind of unresolved trauma, it casts such a long shadow. It can stop you feeling truly safe or secure, even when good things are happening.
Yeah, you could really feel that tension. And that tension then leads to something completely unexpected and ethically tricky, maybe.
Okay.
An offer from prison.
Right, George.
Brad delivers a message to Fallon. It's from George. He wants to call her.
Do apologize.
Nope. Interestingly, not to apologize. He says he has information about Marky.
Information from inside.
Yeah. Apparently, George knows someone, a lad in prison, whose father has had some dealings with this Marky in the past.
Okay, getting complicated.
And this dad apparently hates Marky and might know where he is hiding out.
Right. So, a potential lead, but from a very murky source.
Exactly. Fallon's gut reaction, she's immediately wary, calls it a really bad idea.
Understandable.
She stresses, look, this is a police matter. And she suspects George is doing this for his benefit rather than mine.
Trying to curry favor, maybe? Look good before release?
That's her take. She tells Brad, tell George thanks, but no thanks. Politely shut it down.
But Brad sees it differently.
Yeah, Brad seems to think George is coming from a good place. Thinks he genuinely wants to, quote, prove himself before he gets out. Maybe sees it as a shot at redemption for George.
This is where those moral and practical dilemmas just really come to the surface, doesn't it? It pushes you into that gray area between, like, informal justice and the proper formal system.
Definitely.
Fallon's reaction is totally logical. It's risky getting involved with someone in prison for information outside of official channels, especially given whatever history exists there.
So the big question it raises is,
Yeah, when does that sheer desperation for justice, or just for things to be over, when does that outweigh sticking to the rules, the conventional methods? And what are the risks if you step outside that?
it's a huge calculation.
Huge. Weighing up the chance of a breakthrough against the real dangers of getting tangled up in something unofficial and potentially dangerous.
What sort of risks are we talking about? Beyond just it being, not the official way.
Well, straight away, you've got the reliability issue. Can you trust George? Can you trust his source? What are their motives?
Right. He said the dad hates Marky. Maybe it's revenge.
Could be. And engaging like this could accidentally drag Fallon and Kenton into some existing mess, some criminal network or feud they know nothing about.
That's scary.
Then there are potential legal problems interfering with an investigation. And honestly, the most worrying thing is personal safety. If Marky, or people connected to him, found out they were sniffing around,
Yeah. Retaliation.
it creates this direct, unregulated link that bypasses all the police safeguards, puts them in a very vulnerable spot.
Definitely makes you pause. So the story takes another turn when Fallon, understandably, tells Kenton about this offer.
How does he react?
Well, initially, he's wary too. Shares Fallon's concerns, the police matter angle, the sketchiness of it all.
So he agrees with her at first.
At first. But then, that deep, desperate longing takes over. He just wants Marky behind bars so he can finally sleep at night.
The emotional need is overriding the caution.
Completely. You can hear how much it means to him. He starts rationalizing it, arguing that George does owe us. Bringing up the past, maybe George's connection to what happened, implying George has this moral duty to help.
Finding a justification.
Yeah. And driven by this overwhelming need for peace, Kenton makes a decision. He tells Fallon he's going to talk to Brad, set up the call with George. He says he's really sure he wants to chase this long shot, despite all those risks they just talked about.
Wow. That shows the incredible power of personal impact over protocol, doesn't it? That shift from being cautious, rational, to being driven purely by the emotional need for resolution.
It's a huge leap.
Kennon's journey there, from being wary to being absolutely convinced, it just lays bare the massive psychological toll that unresolved crime takes. He's not just seeking justice in some abstract way.
Oh, it's personal.
It's deeply personal. He's seeking a return to feeling safe, to having peace of mind. He sees this potential path. Okay, it's risky, it's unconventional, but it's a path. A way to maybe regain some control, close this awful chapter.
It really highlights how that need for closure can just push everything else aside, make people consider things they wouldn't normally.
Especially when the official routes feel too slow or like they aren't working.
It's such a powerful illustration of how crime ripples through a community, through individual lives. What does it mean for society, though, when people feel they have to look for justice outside the system? Where does that lead?
That's a really big question. When people, individuals, or whole communities feel let down by the formal system, maybe it's too slow, maybe they feel unheard, maybe it just doesn't seem fair. It creates the space where informal justice can start to grow.
Which can be good or bad.
Both, potentially. Sometimes it might lead to positive things, like community mediation, restorative approaches. But other times, like maybe Kenton's situation is hinting at, it edges towards taking things into your own hands. Vigilantism, even.
And the risk there
is a potential breakdown of trust in the institutions we rely on, a move towards something more chaotic, less regulated. It blurs lines, victim, enforcer, and even if you understand the emotion driving it, it poses real dangers to the rule of law and to everyone's safety. It really makes you ask, how quickly does that desire for peace of mind make people bypass the system, and what does that say about the system itself?
Absolutely. So wrapping this deep dive up, we've really traced these two connected stories, haven't we?
Yeah.
On one side, that struggle against social snobbery, financial hurdles, just trying to find a place to belong, to pursue an interest.
Right, the aspiration versus the barriers.
And on the other, this desperate search for justice and peace in the shadow of trauma, pushing boundaries, challenging the rules.
Indeed. And what really ties them together, I think, even though they seem quite different on the surface of the golf club, the pub, is that relentless human drive. The drive for belonging and the drive for peace.
Yeah.
We saw Chelsea and Zab bumping up against those subtle but really strong forces of exclusion at the club. The money talk, Lawrence's nasty comments, that whole out-of-your-league gatekeeping.
But we also saw Zab push back.
Exactly. Her determination not to just accept it, to go find out the facts for herself at reception, that's real agency. Refusing to be put in a box by someone else's snobbery. It shows that sometimes those barriers, well, maybe they aren't as solid as they first appear, or at least they're worth testing.
And then, the complete shift to the bowl. Celebrating that pub award, a real community win, but doing it while still living with this heavy cloud of fear and anxiety because Marky and the other guy are still out there. That unresolved crime just colors everything.
It does. Fallon's joy is real, but Kennan's need for quiet overshadows it.
Yeah.
It's such a stark reminder that even success feels hollow if you don't feel safe. And that contrast really drives home how deeply insecurity affects us, personally and as a community. Kenton's final choice, deciding to take George's offer despite Fallon's worries, despite the obvious risks.
It says so much about desperation.
It really does. Desperation for closure when the official ways feel like they're failing. It taps into that very basic human instinct sometimes to take control, do something, especially when the emotional stakes are just so incredibly high and anyone, offers a glimmer of hope, however risky.
These little slices of life, they really do show us communities, individuals, constantly trying to figure things out, don't they?
Yeah.
Balancing dreams with reality, seeking justice in these really complicated landscapes.
It's messy, it's human.
Absolutely.
Which kind of leaves a final thought maybe for you listening. In a world where your own aspirations might face these subtle roadblocks, and where justice can sometimes feel just out of reach, how far would you actually go to find that sense of belonging or to get that peace of mind Kenton is craving so badly? What lines might you consider crossing? What risks might seem worth
what are you
taking?
doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode.
And,
Just moving mics around.
So what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the archers. Any
Are you what we
movements
call Foley then?
and- kind of. Yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep. That's the bull bar. That's.
This one.
Yep. That's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever